Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Mandingo Superdome, back again for another behind the beat making and mixing tutorial of how I created this track. This one is called Groove Holmes, and I'll let it play, give you a little background what we're working with today. The first element that I'm going to show you, the primary sound and the one I came up with and actually kind of based the track around with, was the synth bass that you heard. And here's how the line goes. And the next element is the accordion, and I'm going to go ahead and loop that bass up and play it in. And the next part of the track is the kick, and I'm pretty much going to go ahead and build that drum track up. Say this is the higher kick in the pattern that I used, and then also there is a sub bass kick. I'm going to turn it on briefly because it's going to go ahead and distort the audio pretty good. And then we go ahead and mix the snares in. And then you got a straight 16th with about a 60-65% swing on the hi-hats. And then claps. Go ahead and round it out. That's pretty much the main foundation. The track, everything else is merely seasoning, played on a couple different instruments. So we're going to go ahead and go over to the audio side because that's fairly extensive what I did. I'm going to start out with the kick. It's always where I start with my mix. And I just got the single high kick that we're going to look at first. Doesn't necessarily sound like all that at the moment, but we go ahead and throw an EQ. Throw a little dark mass, a little compression and saturation. Limiter at the end of the chain beeps it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in the sub kick, and you're going to notice it's going to sound like crap. And then what I did to fix it. First thing is I needed to EQ. Get rid of that nasty sound, and then the problem is that it's actually hidden and extended a little too long, so I go ahead and throw a gate on it. And you can tell that that goes ahead and shortens it up. Bam, boom. And then limiter on the bus. Get the bass channel. And we simply have that synth bass that I was playing for earlier, and there's actually a bass guitar. Let me go ahead and isolate the bass guitar first, which that's actually coming out of Trillion. It's very nice sampled bass, but it needed a little something extra on it to bring it out. So I went ahead and used a Waves guitar rack, and that goes ahead and widens it out. I think I also have a little bit of a phasing effect going on, or a doubler. I can't remember which I used, and just a limiter to bring it up and compress it a little bit. And then I'll go ahead and mix in that synth bass, some EQ, and you're going to notice this mid-side plug-in is going to go ahead and really widen out that synthesizer part of it. And then finally the limiter at the end of the chain. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you, the kick and the bass are actually in a very, very similar frequency range, and in order to solve that, I went ahead and I used Space Boy plugin from Elevator, which is a wonderful plugin. I'm going to show you how that works. And I'm going to show you on the plugin what's actually going on. What it's doing is a real-time frequency analysis of that kick, which you see here on the blue line on this one, and it's actually transmitting on this first instance. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the bass channel, mixes it in, and then whenever I turn on the second instance of Space Boy, and we take a look at what's going on, the blue line at the top is actually the kick being transmitted on the first channel, and this one is on receive. And what you see down here in the yellow is the real-time frequency analysis of the bass, and pretty much whenever that kick is kicking, it imposes itself and punches a hole in the bass, just like a sidechain compressor would do, but it's based on frequency. It's a wonderful plugin. Highly recommend it. As they can play, you hear they're not weak, but they needed a little extra something. On this one, I actually wound up using a exciter, and this particular sample definitely needed some reverb, and that definitely wakes up. I'm going to go ahead and throw the claps in. The claps and the hi-hat, actually, a lot of this stuff wound up getting that exciting plug-in. And there's the claps coming in, throw the exciter on it. And then the hi-hats. And you can see how that exciter definitely brightens them up. A little reverb. And now they're all playing together nicely. I'm pretty sure these are coming out of my VSL library. They don't sound bad, but they can always use a little bit of help. The mastering exciter just adds a little more top end, brightens them up a little bit. And then we got some, I think, real brass and synth brass playing. Brighten them up, a little reverb. And then here's that accordion, which is a fairly major element. Same thing, it gets an exciter, brightens it up a little bit, and reverb to put it in some space. And then the last little element in the track that plays during the verse is the crazy little vocal stab thing. Took me a long time to find it. But it's just a straight sample, no processing. And mostly I went ahead and used that just simply because it was nice sound that I was looking for, a little bit of flavor, and it also has that kind of little echoing thing that helps fills in some of the spaces at the end. And then finally we come to the master bus. I'm just going to show you. I'd use my same setup of the multi-band compressor with a limiter following it. Simply turn down the output from the multi-band compressor, just make sure it doesn't peak, and then use the limiter to bring the volume level back up. and you can see it's not that bad. It's only showing down here at about 2 dB as far as overage, but then it's a lot better once you put the processing. Hitting just nice and hard. And if you need to reach me, it's Mandingo Superdome at gmail.com. Leasing, pricing information. If you want to collaborate, tips, tricks, something I can help you out with, don't feel afraid to hit me up. All right, later.